Angels Fall First. Angels Fall First is self-described as a combined arms sci-fi wargame and tries to seamlessly blend a space combat flight sim with ground-based FPS combat.
What in tarnation?
Angels Fall First is the latest in a line of projects based on a setting of the same name. This setting is impressively lore-rich, with several short stories serving as its backbone, reaching all the way back to 2005. They even have details about individual arms companies and ammo calibers, most of which can be found on the wiki, which I'll link in the description. From this backbone then came a number of projects, the earliest of which I can find being the Naval Combat Operations mod for Homeworld. Yeah, I can see the influence. Despite the depth of the lore, the premise of the game is actually relatively simple. A bitter war is ongoing between the proud Antarean...
It's pronounced Antarian?
Antarian? Fuck it!
The Proud Empire and the bureaucratic United League of Planets. The Empire had previously tried to take over the galaxy, but got their asses handed to them by the then newly formed United League. Years have passed since that first war, and now the reformed Empire are looking to retake their lost territories from an increasingly ineffectual United League. United League? United League?
It's now down to you to pick a side as this conflict rages on.
Red team!
Blue team! Let's get this out of the way. The game's player base is dead. That's not to say the game is dead, but rather the game isn't complete yet, and therefore has had zero marketing done. This is actually rather admirable, considering most devs will push something out the door well before it's actually done. The devs were aware of this, however, and have programmed AI that is impressively not completely retarded. Most of the time, anyway. To counter this, I brought my own semi-retarded teammates. Kiwi.
They took Kiwi's cubbies, so he's taking their dick.
Waroth.
Finally, more targets.
And Earndil.
I miss Happy Days to know! What will happen to Potsy when I'm not watching?
This will be good.
I'm bleeding out! Yo!
The game outwardly looks like a ridiculously complex game, with a lot of moving parts. What the fuck am I looking at? This, coupled with a lack of a tutorial mode, and at times an arcane control scheme, means a lot of new players will try the game out and just bounce right off, never to return. I'd say the best way to learn the game is to just keep throwing yourself at it until you work out how it all works. With that in mind, let's jump right into the gameplay. There are two primary game modes, Incursion and Territories. Incursion is an objective-orientated mode, with one team defending whilst the other attacks. Each objective the attacking team completes adds more time to the game clock, and pushes back the defending team.
Objective completed, Waroth. We did our job. We did our job, Waroth.
Wait, Higgins?
See you in hell. I killed a Corvette! Haha! Eat my ass!
There is a slight problem when facing AI in this mode, but we'll come to that later. Territories mode is basically capture the point. Both teams fight over regions of importance and try to capture the location for their team. An interesting mechanic to note, however, is that some maps will actually remove points from the victory bar if a vehicle or ship is lost. Both of these modes come in either space or ground combat. In space combat, players spawn within their faction's space station or capital ship, and can then pick from a range of scouts, fighters and bombers to pilot. All of these ships are lovingly crafted, giving each a raw military-industrial feel, while at the same time fitting the side's unique aesthetics. Occasionally, dropships will spawn and attempt to breach enemy capital ships. If successful, players can then deploy as marines directly onto these enemy capital ships, and attempt to destroy critical systems from within.
Wait. Is this game just Star Wars Battlefront?
No,
Yeah, hold on. Look, right, I'm on board, but what the fuck?
Yeah, it's fucking Battlefront, okay? It's Battlefront. But actually good.
You piece of
In ground combat, Marines fight for each objective, whilst armoured vehicles and mechs battle it out in the streets. It's pretty standard fare. If you're familiar with PlanetSide or Battlefield, you'll feel right at home. While the vehicles and weapons are also beautifully crafted, This mode suffers from the same kind of silhouette and colour scheme problem that PlanetSide does. While both sides have distinctive base colour schemes, the game offers a camouflage customization system that allows players to alter the colour of their camo schemes to match that of the enemy team. This means that you'll sometimes get bushwhacked by an enemy you mistook for an ally.
Welcome back, Commander.
One of the game's leading features is its interesting command hierarchy. One player is selected to be the team's commander and will give orders to squad leaders. These squad leaders in turn lead squads. The AI is perfectly capable of taking these roles itself, with an AI commander called Milnet taking lead automatically if nobody nominates themselves for the role. AI teammates will attempt to follow this hierarchy too, but this largely boils down to them repeatedly demanding orders from their squad leader.
We're standing by waiting for orders, apparently. Freelance, go.
No!
And then promptly either ignoring you or screwing about when you issue them. That being said, the AI can be pretty intelligent, often working together to complete objectives in an understandable fashion.
Eat my ass, you brother fuckers.
I've even seen some holding back for more forces to arrive, rather than just running into the meat grinder mindlessly. All in all, this AI is pretty clever, even if their choice of gear is a bit weird. Awkward segue to equipment, go! Do you want to be an armoured brick with 3 revolvers? Well, go right ahead. The game's armoury is huge, and none of it is level locked. All of the weapons and equipment are available to you from level 1. Instead, the game has a budget system in place that dictates how much you can carry. These budgets are broken up into 3 types: command, support, and combat. If you go over your budget, you won't be able to use that loadout. Sure, you can afford an LMG at level 1, but you won't be able to upgrade it. Same goes for grenades or upgrades for your suit. Everything costs budget. This encourages specialization, whilst at the same time giving you plenty of freedom to experiment with some more wild loadouts.
Check this out, look how fucking fast I am.
For example, I've put a ton of cooling upgrades, a scope, and a long barrel on this LMG, so now I can transform into a turret position. While we're here, can we talk about how amazing some of these weapons are? I mean, just look at this! It's a freaking 4-gauge super shotgun! Or this space AK! Or this fucking minigun! Each of these weapons are just as lovingly crafted as the ships, and they all feel satisfying to use, with their own suitably punchy sound effects and smooth animations. Each faction has a selection of weapons unique to their side, and both sides have access to the same pool of non-faction specific weapons. The Empire's weapons come with this slick, clean, curved design to them, and mostly use a sandy yellow colour scheme. The ULA's weapons, however, are far more blocky and value function over form, and most come in their trademark deep blue. The non-faction specific weapons are a range of designs and colours, spanning from cheap space AKs to shoulder-mounted 30mm flak cannons. Practically all weapons come with an alternative fire mode. Usually this just means switching between semi and auto fire, but for some it can switch to underbarreled weapons, toggle dumb firing, and in one case turn a heavy rifle into a fucking plasma cannon. The sheer range of crazy builds you can make with this system means you can almost always try something new, and there isn't really a top-tier loadout. That being said, there is a lack of effective crowd-busting weapons, especially for lower-level players with smaller budgets, as even the basic grenades are incredibly expensive. Remember how I said the AI can make it hard to advance? It's kind of smart, but also frustrating, as when the AI no longer has any other points to defend, it'll just wad every single one of its troopers onto a single point without fail. If the objective is a hack spike, aka attack and defend objective, then the defending AI will bunch up on a point into this critical mass of body blocking and bullet spraying. This is further compounded by the abundance of portable shield generators and turrets they'll throw down to entrench. Without any good anti-crowd weapons, this can drag missions out to their full time, and is incredibly annoying.
They just kind of lamed it out there.
So do I think Angels Fall First is a good game? Yes, but also no. It's a clear labour of love, and this really shows in its aesthetics. It is downright beautiful in places. However, the game is very rough with a few poor design choices bringing down the overall experience. The lack of lag compensation for— Literally whilst I was editing this, update went live containing lag compensation. So, Ultimately, Angels Fall First tries to be a lot of games, and somehow it just manages not to suck at any of them. Considering the passion the devs have for the project, I don't think it will ever truly be finished. And in a strange way, that's kind of what I love about it. Special thanks to Kiwi, Waroth, Earndil and Thunder. You've all contributed massively to this video, and you motherfuckers are wonderful.
Fight me like a man, you fucking coward.
Fight me like a man, you cow.
Tough words for someone who's immune to bullets!
Fuck!
See ya, Space Cowboy.
Listen, he just wanted to wait till they could have kids fucking each other in the ass.
That's terrible. Don't ever say that again.